Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Omega have been revealed. Who will be on their banners? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan Battle video. In today's video, we have the reveal for the Part 2 LRs for Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Dokkan Festival LR Omega Shenron. So in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about these guys, when we can expect to see them, and who's going to be on their banner. So let's start with when we can expect to see them. So we have the reveal for these guys here on the 20th of July. We also have the announcement of the upcoming live broadcast where they will reveal the arts, the animations, the kits, as well as a few other events coming in part 2 on the 23rd at 2 a.m. PST. So for those of you guys out there, that's this is about 11 p.m. my time on the 22nd, and if we follow the part 1 schedule, this will likely be 24 hours from this time. Is within 24 hours from this time we should see the banners, right? If we follow the part 1 schedule, it could be sooner, right? Going as far as maybe to drop it down to like a 7 p.m. release my time. As we get closer to that date, I will put out a banners when video fully breaking down the exact time as we get more details. But if we follow part 1, expect 24 hours after this time, as that's when it was revealed. I'm sure we will get more information as the time comes. We also do know that there is a data download coming. There should be 2 data downloads this week, according to Rick, because they do have to update several events coming through, and several of the event updates are at different times. So, I mean, it's possible we could see something in one of the data downloads from this week that will sort of lend into when this exactly is going to start, and we will of course update you when that happens. So now the big question on everybody's mind is, what is going to be on the banners? Well, if we go off the part 1 banners, it's actually pretty easy to figure out, and our initial prediction before part 1 was actually pretty darn close. So let's start with the Carnival banner, right? Because this is the one I know most of you guys are going to be summoning on, right? That Carnival banner. If we were to mirror part 1, it should look a little something like this, to mirror part 1. So we should have, since part 1 returned the 2 Universe Survival Saga LRs, the Vegeta and the Goku Frieza, we can safely assume that Gohan and Super Saiyan 4 Goku will be on part 2. And I mean, this is actually, this is a great deal right here, getting these 2 on the same banner. And again, mirroring part 1, Future Gohan was the 2023 LR on this banner, so Trunks should be on his counterpart here, Fizz LR Trunks. STR Gohan, the counterpart to the Tech Broly, who was on the part 1 banner here, right? He should be here as well. The Gammas, right, counterpart to Gogeta from the 9th anniversary, should be on this banner as well. And then that leaves 1 open spot, and so we had to take a bit of leeway here, but there isn't really much. It kind of depends on what lead they go with. No matter what lead they choose for Gogeta, there isn't really there's no GT Heroes LR they can put on here that would fit under his leader skill, other than the GT Trio. I think that's the only yellow coin summonable one we have, right? The GT Trio, and I don't think we're going to see them. I think it's going to be someone more related to the Dokkan Fest LR, which is Omega Shenron, and of course, I'll get to why that is, right? So, the last LR was an easy A in part 1, and the only LR, assuming that one of his leads is GT Bosses, which I really think it needs to be, because GT Bosses needs a buff as a category. The only LR that fits under here that is summonable is, of course, the LR 17. It's not I mean, it's not ideal, but GT Bosses needs to as many characters as it can take, and so I do think that he will likely get an easy A during the celebration, and he will fit under this skill. And it kind of it makes a little bit of sense when you consider the fact that they did mention in the in-game news here. We'll pull this up real quick. Right, they did mention in the in-game news here that the baby is actually getting hit. Oh, well, why would it jump to that? That's crazy. They did mention that baby is getting a buff, right? So if they were to buff baby as well as 17, that would give multiple different members of the GT Bosses team to be sort of present and make his team work. So I do think that 17 is likely. The last 3 characters on the Carnival banner I kind of just threw on here, right? If they really want to do things right, they could sub Easy A at least 2 of these, right? The Nova and Ice obviously are too soon as they came with 8 year, but the Tech Sen and the Fizz Nova could absolutely get a sub Easy A, right? GT Bosses, one way they could really help fill out this team is by dropping some of these characters on the banner and sub Easy A-ing him. I'd like to think that they would finally do Int Baby, but being that these characters like him and the like the STR Super Saiyan 3 Goku tend to be banned for most events. I don't think they're ever going to sub Easy A, but they absolutely could drop Sen's sub Easy A. They could drop Rildo's sub Easy A. They could definitely do that. They also could probably throw like Fizz Sen on here or not, that's Omega. Fizz Sen right here. They could throw him on the banner as well, but I'm thinking kind of maybe newer units that could sub Easy A would be the best idea here. But either way, it'll be 3 GT related units, right? Some who could likely get a sub Easy A or some who have already sub Easy A. Although GT Heroes doesn't have much to work with. I think the only sub Easy A they have is, well, he's not really a sub Easy A. He's a Hero Extermination Easy A. So you have him, and who else? Just the STR Goku. All the rest are like some are all TURs that have not Easy A'd or they're part of the Hero Extermination plan. So yeah, I mean, there's not much to work with for the rest of the Carnival. I know people aren't concerned about that. There'll be 3 random SSRs. I know nobody's really concerned with them to begin with, but I just want to throw that out there. So that is the Carnival banner, right? These guys, pretty much everybody up to the Gammas is guaranteed to be on the banner with Gogeta. These are sort of my predictions to see for the last one. Now, the Dokkan Fest banner. Once again, if we follow part 1, this is pretty standard, right? The part 1 banner had all of these characters, so we will see the new Omega Shenron, some type of new banner unit. Don't know who, right? Could be a GT Hercule, right? That's crazy. So I've seen people kind of talking about this, that, right, since part 1, Dokkan Fest got a Champa, we could see GT Hercule here in part 2, mirroring the 10th anniversary, who had Hercule in part 1 and Beerus in part 2. So I mean, it would be funny if that was the case. I would prefer it to be something else, but we shall see what ends up happening here. But he for sure will be on the banner somehow with a banner unit. It is it's a Dokkan Fest banner. That's what to be expected. Now, of course, since Gogeta returned in the part 1 banner, Vegito is basically guaranteed to return on the part 2 banner, right? So be prepared for get your copy of another Vegito or your first copy if you didn't manage to get one during 10th anniversary, which I don't know how you wouldn't have, but you know, that's neither here nor there. Int Broly should be on here opposite his counterpart, the trio from part 1 of Worldwide last year. Since the Blue Boys were on part 1, Worldwide 2023, Texama should be on part 2. Mirroring Beast Gohan being on the part 1 banner here. Of course, that does mean that Broly will be on part on part 2 banner. Of course, now that does bring us to a little bit of prediction here, and this one is kind of wild, but it would make sense, right? So part 1 randomly had Vegeta and Trunks, and even though they did an easy A, which is a lot of people thought, they were still on the banner, right? And so I think that could mean we could see full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku be on the banner to match the theme of GT for part 2. It would make sense. There's not really anybody else to put on the banner that would match that slot. He kind of makes the most sense to put there, mirroring the Tanabata LR of Vegeta and Trunks in part 1. Moving on, of course, since part 1 did have the LR gods, then it's pretty safe to assume that LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, the Super Saiyan 4 duo will be there on the part 2. The last two are a prediction, but sort of following in line with part 1. Now, there aren't really many super easy A's I could find that would really fit this. I doubt if Fizz Omega and STR Omega would be on the same banner, especially if Fizz isn't going to is super easy A, but I could definitely see STR Omega super easy A. It's also very likely that Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta will get his easy A as well, and so I feel like they will be the last two TUR spots on this banner. It just makes sense. It is pretty that is pretty likely that these two will be. Super excited, although with the new Gogeta being standalone, that does probably both of the new characters actually being standalone might prove to be a problem for these guys, but you know, they might design them around being third slot and being just fine no matter what. So we'll see what happens, but this is what I think the Dokkan Fest banner is going to look like. Seems pretty obvious given the way the part 1 set up. Same goes for the part 2. Really, our major predictions are 17 and the 3 banner units here, and then Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and then these two. Although I do feel like these two are pretty much locked in. So, guys, that is it for the video. That is who should be on the banners for part 2 of this celebration. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, what do you think? These are my predictions for the 2 banners, but who do you think will be on the banner? Obviously, we know the first 7 on each are pretty much given, but what about the Hail Mary predictions here? What do you think? Do you think they're on the money, or do you think that they might throw somebody else out there on these banners? Let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.